5 pros and 5 cons of the DJI Pocket 3. That's what we're going to give you today based on my experience over the last few months and some other videos and some stuff that you guys have brought up to me in the comments. So if you are on the fence about picking this thing up or not, hopefully this video can clear it up with 5 great things and 5 not so great things. So let's dive in and start with the obvious one, and that's the 1-inch sensor and the image quality and the low light performance that comes along with that. Yes, it's a huge upgrade over the Pocket 2, just leaps and bounds ahead, and I've been really impressed with the image quality. If you watch the channel, you've seen that I've used this thing in a lot of cases for my A-roll. I'm filming on it right now. I think it's great, and I think it passes off for some of the quality that we really expect out of our mirrorless cameras these days. No, it's not going to replace one if you are a professional in a lot of cases because it's a pocket camera, but just know that the image quality, as you see here, and you be the judge, let me know down in the comments what you think, but I think it's pretty darn good. So the first pro for me, definitely image quality. Next up is the tracking, and all I have to do here is just double tap my face twice and active tracking is enabled, and I can move around and it's going to track me really well. So if you're somebody who films yourself a lot, you don't have somebody filming you or the ability to have that, this thing is going to be really good. It's really great, really accurate, and really fast, miles ahead of the Pocket 2, and I find myself using it actually a lot. Just kind of gives more of a dynamic shot to your footage, I think. Even if you're gonna, get up and move around, go behind things, it does a really good job at nailing that shot. So yeah, tracking for me, huge plus and definitely worthy of making the list. Number 3 is the audio and the mic that's included with this thing. It's the DJI Mic 2, and I've got it turned on right now. This is what it sounds like. Let me know what you think of the audio quality, but I'll just kind of toggle here between on and off, and you can see the difference. You basically press the on button, it connects instantly. You can monitor it right there. You can make setting adjustments in just 1 second. So yeah, really impressed with how that syncs up, and you can actually use 2 mics. So if you're doing an interview or something, or you've got 2 people talking and walking at the same time, well, they got you covered. And here's the built-in audio. This is with the mic off. I'm about, I don't know, 1.5 feet away. So typically that's kind of what I'd be holding it at if I were vlogging. So this is in an indoor room here with the doors closed. So it's probably gonna be a little bit echoey, but that's the difference between the built-in microphones here and the wireless mic that you now hear once again. Moving along, number 4 is the size of this thing. And yes, it is a pocket, which means typically you can fit it in your pocket. Now, if you do decide to go with the creator combo and you have that battery handle and the little tripod and whatnot, it can get a little bit big. So just know that if you don't take it apart, it's probably gonna be sticking out of your pocket. But for the most part, it's really easy to take around with you. The overall size is really good. I love the flip screen that gives you more screen real estate. So yeah, size, unsurprisingly, is gonna be a pro. And number 5, one of the best things about this camera is its ease of use. It's just so incredibly easy to use. Anybody can do it and really get some really good footage. I gave it to my kid to play around with, and even she could get some pretty decent shots. So if you don't have a lot of experience with cameras, or you want something just to film the family with, or vacations, or just document your life, this is gonna be a fantastic option. There's not a huge learning curve. Everything's laid out for you. There's a trillion tutorials already. So if you're thinking this thing's gonna be overly complicated and might be a little bit much for you to jump into, don't worry about it at all. Ease of use is a fantastic pro for this camera. All right, now let's get into the 5 cons. These are things that maybe if DJI is listening, they could maybe work on in the future. Some of them are fixable, some maybe not. Number 1 is there is no removable battery. And that kind of sucks because obviously everybody knows batteries degrade over time, and people with the Pocket 1 and older stuff know that your battery life does degrade. So yes, this thing will degrade over time. Right now and out of the box, it's really good and it charges really quickly. I guess you could buy a battery handle to extend that later, but how hard would it have been to just add a removable battery like you get in a GoPro or something? They're a dime a dozen, there's third-party ones, and maybe that's why. But for me, not having a removable battery is not a deal breaker, but definitely a con. Number 2 is the price. $669 US for the creator combo, or 520-ish for just the camera, is a little bit expensive for some people. Probably thinking to get an entry-level camera to jump in to maybe try your luck at filmmaking or whatever. Although this is a great option, it's gonna be more expensive than some of the cheaper options. So Yes, of course, everything is more expensive these days with inflation, craziness. But yeah, the price I wish was just a little bit lower. And I also wish that ND filters were included with the creator combo. I think that's silly. And I think that to get your best footage, you're really gonna need to invest in some ND filters. For me, I love the Freewell because they're cheaper and you get a lot of value in there. I'll throw a link up there if you're interested. But if you are gonna jump into this thing and expect great results in hugely bright situations with no NDs, think again. You're gonna have to invest a little bit into a few accessories maybe. Con number 3 is the fixed aperture of this camera. Now, I wish in manual mode there was an option to be able to change the aperture to dial it in certain situations. Again, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know the inner workings, but I know if we can do it on drones, well, this thing's pretty similar to the cameras and the whole thing they got going on in drones, so well, I know it's possible. You're leaving it up to shutter and ISO to balance your exposure triangle, so having that one more piece of the puzzle would have been really great to just add a little bit more to your repertoire. Again, for me, not a total deal breaker, but yeah, just know that this thing does have a fixed aperture. Number 4 is the build. Now don't get me wrong, this thing is built pretty good. It feels all right. There have been some reports of the screen having some malfunctions and breaking, but it feels really solid for me. But just know that it is made of plastic, and being a gimbal camera, it's gonna be quite sensitive. So just be aware, if you're gonna thrash this thing, if you're gonna throw it in your bag, if you're gonna have it tip over, you're not being really careful, you could run into problems. I always buy a warranty on things I know I'm gonna use a lot, so that's something I'd really suggest. They do have a quick turnaround replacement program, which I used with a drone that worked out pretty good, so just consider that, but just know it's more of a plastic toy than a professional piece of filmmaking gear. Not surprising. And con number 5, it's not waterproof. Well, of course it's not waterproof, it's a gimbal camera, you say, but this doesn't replace an action camera, and it's supposed to be kind of a do-it-all thing you throw in your pocket, but just know that, yeah, it's not waterproof. So it's not gonna replace an action camera. You're not gonna be able to take this thing on crazy adventures or mount it to your body or your head without having to worry about that gimbal and, of course, rain and stuff. So having it be waterproof would have been just a little bit more secure and confident for me, but just know, again, it's not gonna replace an action cam. For me personally, I think this thing fits my shooting style a little bit better than an action camera. I always struggle with action cameras. I always have one or two kicking around, but I don't use them as much as I think I'm going to. I find them a bit difficult, and there's always new ones, and they're always different to operate and whatnot, where this thing, again, you just throw it on, you press the button, and it works well. So there's my 5 pros and my 5 cons for you guys. Let me know what you think of this thing down in the comments. Am I on the ball? Have I missed a bunch of stuff? Let me know, guys. If you did want to pick it up, I will drop affiliate links down below. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.